Today's topic is measures of dispersion. Earlier we have studied measure of central tendency. A measure of central tendency does not give the complete information about some distribution, and we should use measure of dispersion to supplement the information. Measure of dispersion gives us the idea about the scattering of the data from the central value of the data, that means the mean. Okay, how scattered the data is from the central value or the mean. So it is also called average of second order. So I am giving with example I am explaining. So let us suppose there is a series, all the observation of the series are same, suppose 10 10 10. Now let's take another series. Here the observations are different, 12, 11, 8 and 15. Now let's take third series, 2, 10, 8, 6, 24. Okay. Now if you find the mean of the first series, we will get x1 is equal to 10, x1 bar is equal to 10. Now the second series, x2 bar is equal to 10. For the third series again, x3 bar is equal to 10. That means mean of the all the series are same, but by appearance these are different. No? This is a constant series. Here the variation is there. That means these are dispersed from the central value, because this is less than this central value 4. Okay, here this is more than the central value, which is 10. So it is more than the central value. Now look at the third series. This is more dispersed because the central value is 10, but this observation is 2 and the highest observation is 24. That means it is more dispersed. So the third series is more dispersed as compared to the second series, and the first series is a constant series. That means the dispersion of this series is 0. Here we will get little bit dispersion, but in the third series we get more dispersion. So the dispersion value will be more here as compared to the second series. So this is measure of dispersion. That means through dispersion we can find how dispersed the data is from the central value, or how scattering of the data from the central value or mean value. Okay. So there are different type of methods for finding the measure of dispersion. One is absolute measure and another one is relative measure. So absolute measure, we go for absolute measure when there is only single series, then we use this absolute measure. These are the different methods of the absolute measure of dispersion. And we go for relative measure when we have 2 or more series. In that case we go for this relative measure. To compare 2 or more series, we use relative measure of dispersion. So now let's start with the absolute measure. There are 4 methods. First one is range. Range is very simple. Just we have to find the difference between the lowest and highest. That means highest value is 24. 24 minus 2, whatever with the value 22, that is the dispersion value. Okay, range value. We go for another method which is called quartile deviation. Then the third method is mean deviation. Fourth one is standard deviation. So these are the absolute measure of dispersion. Okay, and relative measure of dispersion are coefficient of range, because these are unit free. So coefficient of range, quartile deviation, here it will become coefficient of quartile deviation. The third one is mean deviation, so coefficient of mean deviation. Standard deviation, coefficient of variation. So these are the different relative measure of dispersion. In our next video I will explain the first measure of dispersion, which is range. First we will go for absolute measure, then under absolute measure we will study range, then quartile deviation, then mean deviation and standard deviation. Thank you.